Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Ink and Paint. My name is Jill Diffendahl. I'm excited to be joined here tonight by my fellow panelist, Emma,
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Stephanie,
Hi, everybody.
and Shannon.
Hello, humans.
And so this week, because there were so many of us that wanted to talk about our topic this week of cocktails, mocktails, lounges at Disney, actually what we're going to do is I'm going to host the first half of the show, and then Ashley is going to step in and host the second half of the show. So at our commercial break, Ashley is going to jump in and take over and share her perspectives because I think some of us here on the panel, I'm sure some of you out there watching are fans of enjoying drinks at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. So I'm going to kick off and go to Emma first and just share with me your thoughts of like how having drinks, and again, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, how that kind of fits into your Disney experience.
I mean, it's definitely a big part of it. I feel like whenever we go on a trip, we're always celebrating something, whether it's a birthday or it's near the holidays, whatever it is, or even if we're just going somewhere for the first time, like going to Oga's for the first time, or, our last trip was the first time that all four of us in the family were 21. So, of course, we went around Epcot, did the whole thing, drinking around the world. So, definitely now it's a bigger part of it than it was when I was a kid. Absolutely. And I must say, like, I'll be going the week after the 4th of July. What is that noise? The week after the 4th of July. And I will definitely, since you can walk around outside now without your mask on, like, that's one of my favorite things to do is to walk around again, like World Showcase or even Galaxy's Edge, and just to have a drink in your hand. It's kind of nice. So.
Just to add to that for a quick second, in that particular aspect, there is such a massive difference between being able to walk around and have a drink and drink it and not being able to do that when the mask mandate was still in effect. Like, and even just weird, like, dumb things about it. Like, I would go to Joffrey's and get an iced coffee and then want to walk to another part of the park and get in line for a ride. And you have to keep stopping and drinking, and then you couldn't take your drink in the queue. So it was kind of like if you wanted a drink, which whether you're like me and need coffee in the morning, or whether it's because it's Florida and it's hot and it's 100 degrees and you need to stay hydrated, like all of a sudden it became this weird thing that actually drinking like became an activity that you had to budget time for. And so it's like this incredible relief to not have to do that anymore. And it just makes it more enjoyable that you can get a coffee and walk around, or get a drink and walk around and kind of sip it as you go, stop where you want to stop, and not feel like you have to like get out of the walkway to do it. But sorry, I digressed from the conversation. I'm going to kick it to Stephanie. Tell me a little bit about how it is for you.
Well, I agree with your assessment. We were there in April and we could, walk and take our mask off as long as we were drinking. And so that was a lot better than having to stay still and drink. But we typically go with our children. So drinking definitely helps. I'm just kidding. But no, I've really enjoyed the lounge experience because that's something that we can bring the kids into as well. And they can sit there and have their snack or lunch or whatever it may be, and we can just enjoy a cocktail and some food. So that's something that has enhanced and it really will bring a sense of peace. It does, a calming sense before we have to get back out into the crowd and fight the lines or whatever have you.
Right, exactly. It kind of can give you this really nice break in the day. And, some people like to go back and take a nap or go to the pool, but sometimes that can be the perfect thing to do is just, stop into a lounge and spend an hour in the air conditioning, get a drink, get a snack, and then be on your way to your next attraction or show or whatever you want to do. Shannon, how about you?
Yeah, so my story's pretty similar to Emma's, actually. Now that my family, we're all older, it's actually become a part of our routine. Like the cocktail hour before dinner has become a thing. whether it be in the lobby, in a lobby bar, or if it's the bar outside the restaurant that we're going to. It's one of our favorite things to do. And I can't tell you how many memories we've made laughing in Trader Sam's. That's become like an experience. And Trader Sam's, we may get to this later, but Trader Sam's is a bar where I'm okay just having one round of drinks is great. You have so much fun. Drinks are strong, so I wouldn't recommend getting more than one drink. But we have had so many laughs, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who has not been before, but things move, things are interactive. It's really an experience in and of itself.
That's such a huge part of it to me, is that it's not like at home, and home used to be Pennsylvania, and even here in Orlando, outside of the Disney bubble, there are places you can go. Absolutely. There's a million places to go get a drink, but there's such this huge difference that is really, it's some of it's atmosphere, but some of it's just the vibe, I don't know, of getting a drink at a bar or lounge on Disney property versus doing it anywhere else. That some of it is the theming, absolutely. If you're at a place like Trader Sam's, or you're at a place like the Enchanted Rose, where you've got all this Beauty and the Beast theming around you, and it's in some places it's really subtle. Or you're at the Tune-In Lounge at 50s Prime Time, and you've got kind of that whole 50s kitschy vibe. Like, you can have all of these wildly different experiences because everything is so themed, and like it's just it has such a different feel to it. But so I wanted to, before we get further into our conversation, I wanted to make sure I shared two pieces of input that we got. We had some viewer mail for this episode. I love our little graphic. And so one of them came from Arlo, who is a WIGS member and a good friend of WDWNT. He's a fan of a lot of our shows. But he wrote in to talk about this. And he wanted to say, I want to give a huge thank you that you're talking about not just alcoholic, but non-alcoholic drinks. He said, when some of the other guys talk about drinking, I often feel a bit left out because I'm not yet of legal age to drink. So I really can't tell you how much I appreciate this topic making it onto a show. His favorite drink is, he says, while there are a few select mocktails at the Walt Disney World Resort that I enjoy, such as the Shirley Temple at the Brown Derby, my all-time favorite Disney mocktail is the Wildberry Lemonade at the Carthay Circle Lounge at Disney California Adventure. The presentation is beautiful with a berry foam topped with mint and a few berries on a skewer. The actual drink is just wonderful, especially on hot days. I think they might sell it upstairs at the restaurant proper, but to be honest, I haven't actually been to the Carthay Circle restaurant since 2014, since I actually like the food in the lounge a lot better, and it's also way cheaper. So I thought that was a fun story from Arlo, and I think that's one of the things that makes a lot of Disney so nice, is that the cocktail experience is there for those of us that want it, and then the mocktail experience is there for those of us that don't. And you've got all of the lounges generally have non-alcoholic drinks on their menu that are kind of fun and fruity, or something, you're not just giving your kids a soda, they're getting something fun. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel part of the experience. And it also, again, it's just like, I feel like drinks are an extension of the food conversation as far as Walt Disney World goes, that, for a lot of us who are foodies, there are great food experiences. And I think that drinks sort of are an extension of that as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to share was we got a video in from a friend of the show. Her name is Lee, not Eric Morton's Lee, but a different Lee. And she actually sent us a video. So she went to La Cava de Tequila at the Mexico Pavilion. And her drink is called the Alabreas Margarita. So it's relatively new to the menu, and it's got this crazy presentation. So I wanted to share this video with you guys because, again, to me, this sometimes how they serve the drinks is such a part of the experience at Disney, in terms of like you're having an experience just getting the drink in the first place. So check this out. So they basically like blast it with smoke. They pour the margarita in. There's like glow cubes going on. They put a foam or a smoke bubble on top of it. And it's like this crazy,
awesome.
insane thing. And then they serve it under glass. Like it's just this, and they blast more smoke into the glass. Like you're standing there for 5 minutes waiting for this whole drink presentation to happen. It's crazy.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
almost like that they take
That's
the time
awesome.
to do that, like rather than
Right?
just like a churn and burn, a tequila bar. Like they're making it a better,
Yeah.
more special experience.
Right, and that's the one thing I will actually. Oh, sorry. That's a good point because that's the one thing I will say about Oga's. No matter how amazing the cast members are and the atmosphere is, I feel like the fact that they just pour the drink from a tap and okay, maybe they have to add something to it like a rim or the buzz button foam if you're getting the fuzzy tauntaun. Like I feel like they could have gone a step further with that. Anyway.
Well, and I'll even say to that point, like at La Cava, there are plenty of times, like when it's busy at La Cava, they are not making your margaritas to order. They have pictures of them sitting behind the bar that they just pour you. And the La Cava avocado is my favorite at La Cava. If you've never tried it, it's a margarita with avocado blended into it. It's like this weird creamy, it's like
It's good.
alien green, but it's so good. But so you don't necessarily, even at the same bar or lounge, you don't necessarily get the same experience for every drink. Sometimes there are these sort of like experience drinks they have. But this is what Lee shared about her Alabreas margarita experience. She said, the first thing I'll say is that it's super strong. It has mezcal, tequila, agave-based gin, and passion fruit liqueur. So it really packs a wallop. The tartness of the passion fruit comes through, but so does all the smoke, and it's a lot of smoke. So it tastes like a passion fruit infused campfire, which I think is kind of a hysterical way to describe it. But, I can kind of get the sense of what that means. But the other thing I will share is that is a $30 margarita. So you're definitely paying extra for that experience. It does not come cheap. But does anybody else have like cool sort of, and I know we talked a little bit about Trader Sam's, but other sort of cool presentation experiences or like what your favorite drinks are that you get that kind of have that, extra wow factor to them?
I heard that Enchanted Rose. I did not experience this when my sister went to Enchanted Rose. She said there are some drinks there that come with fanfare. Like a story that the server will come bring your drink and tell this whole story, which I'm not sure if I'm really into, but they're there if you want them. Other than that, Trader Sam's is really the big thing for me. Haven't really experienced anything else personally.
I mean, I guess for me, it would be at. Oh, sorry, Jill. It would be at Beaches and Cream. When I was there, I saw someone get the big kitchen sink, which isn't technically a mocktail, but it kind of turns into one after all the ice cream melts, so it kind of counts. But I mean, the whole thing with the sirens going off and a whole can, I can't. It's hilarious. I will never order it because there's no way I'd even come close to finishing it, even with other people. But it's quite the sight to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's an experience. One of the ones, so Desi is in the chat and she mentioned the Lapu Lapu. So she actually sent in this picture to us to share. And in her when she sent this over, she's like, has anyone ever stopped at the Polynesian to Tambu Lounge for a Lapu Lapu on their way to the Magic Kingdom? To which I responded, I've never stopped on my way to the Magic Kingdom, but I've definitely left the Magic Kingdom to get a Lapu Lapu at Tambu Lounge. It's a little more difficult to do these days now that the monorail is not running to the Polynesian, but that's another kind of thing I really enjoy is stopping at the monorail resorts either before or after going to the parks. One of my favorite things to do is I will go over to the Grand Floridian and head over to the park for a little bit and then come back and have a drink at Enchanted Rose after I leave the park. Even though, to be quite honest, Enchanted Rose as a lounge experience is really not my favorite. I feel like the service is always slow and the drinks, I know drinks are expensive everywhere in Walt Disney World, but like a Manhattan is $25, which you can get them for $15 in other places in Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. So the drinks are a little more expensive, but some of them do come with that fancy presentation. But just the vibe of
I tell you what, Jill, I think it looks beautiful, but I will not go visit that on principle because I don't think that it really deserves to be in the Grand Floridian. I think it probably would fit better over at the Riviera, being European, and they already have the same chandelier up in Topolino's as they do, you know, Belle's Dress versus the macaroni or whatever chandelier. It's the same thing. But, Grand Floridian's more for Mary Poppins in my book. But anyway, I tell you, I've never had any good presentation drink. I'm going to have to totally do the margarita one the next time we go. But we will go if we go to a restaurant, say Chico or Topolino's. We went there for our anniversary dinner, California Grill, Victoria and Albert's. We always talk to the sommelier and ask them what their recommendations are. So that's always a nice thing to do because they're the experts. So, and we tell them what our preference are, and they give us what they would suggest with our meal.
That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned Riviera. And so one of my favorite things to do, I love Topolino's. They have excellent food. And the drinks at Topolino's are great. But if you go to Topolino and you're early for your table, I highly recommend going to Bar Riva. It's downstairs. It's around, you have to go down and out and around the corner. It's across from the pool, and it's an open air bar, but they have the big heat lamps up top. So if it's cool out in the evening, you can still stay warm. You get kind of a nice view of the pool. You can see the Skyliner. You can see over to the Caribbean beach from there. They have awesome drinks there, and it is an excellent place to, while away half an hour or so before you go up to Topolino's for your dinner. So that's kind of one of my little hidden secret places that I love to go when I'm when the timing suits and I find myself at Riviera with a little time to kill.
Something that I thought was special about thank you so much for the super chat, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
She said, happy to see more women on the channel. Keep up the good work, ladies. Cheers. Yes, cheers.
Yay, yes. Thank you so much.
So I was going to say, when we went to Topolino, I was, I'm not a wine expert, but I was looking in the cases, they have those beautiful displays of the cheese and the pasta and the wines. And actually I saw 2 bottles of wine from a farm that we went to in southern Italy on our Adventures by Disney trip. And it was this adorable family farm. And I thought that was so special because it's not a wine that perhaps it's in the US. I've never seen it in the US, and I ordered the wine directly from the farm to ship here. So the fact that Disney took that step and played on those relations, I thought was really cool and kind of brought me back to that trip.
That's really add neat. To that, if you go to Wine Bar George, you'll find tons of stuff like that. It's insane, the wine selection they have. And I honestly, I could spend the whole day there and taste wine for just have a blast. It would be expensive as heck, but if you, especially they know what they're doing as well. They have a sommelier. I mean, heck, George is there himself most of the time. So you're always gonna have someone who's knowledgeable to guide you as well, and you can never go wrong. They're going to give you a great selection.
I love Wine Bar George. They have over 100 wines, but here's my favorite thing about Wine Bar George is they have this short list, and by short I mean maybe 30 wines that are they're premium, high-end, expensive wines that you can order by the ounce. So if you want to try something crazy, you just want to treat yourself and try some crazy expensive wine that you think you'd really like, or just, want to do something a little different and outside your comfort zone, but not spend a ton of money. And don't get me wrong, some of these wines can be $20 to $30 an ounce, but some of them are under 10 to 15. And so if it's something you want to try, you can go there. And I love the fact that you can go there and just get a smaller serving to taste something that you might not otherwise honestly get a chance to do because drinking it by the glass is out of your price range. Flying Fish actually used to do something a little bit like that, where they had a premium wine list that you could get smaller servings of wine as well. And hopefully Flying Fish comes back soon, because that is actually one of my favorite restaurants on property, but they have a great wine list as well. But yeah, Wine Bar George definitely is my go-to place for trying new wines. It's awesome. So we've got
Me too, and then I just pub crawl over to Jock Lindsay's across the way right when I'm done. I'm just
Yeah.
That is like my favorite. Speaking of like themed lounges, Jock Lindsay's is my favorite place to hang out on property, where you can just like go and sit and, you luck out and get the diving bell table inside, and that's really fun. Or you can sit out on the boat with a bunch of people. They have some great cocktails. I'm a bourbon fan, and they have some really good bourbon cocktails, but they also have a good just straight bourbon list. They have the fun machine that presses the ice balls for your bourbon drinks. So that's definitely a place I love to go. And they have small plates as well. They have some really good snack foods that make it a good place to just even stop for like a light lunch or something in the middle of the afternoon at Springs. So I wanted to pull up, you guys had sent in a bunch of pictures that I wanted to share, because you sent pictures of some of your favorite drinks on property. So I'm going to start with Emma and what Emma sent in.
Oh, yes. The fuzzy tauntaun.
The fuzzy tauntaun. And I think
Yes.
Oga's is a really good place to talk about in terms of, again, that crazy themed experience. I love Oga's. I haven't been able to get a reservation at Oga's at all this year, anytime I've been down here, because it's so hard to get reservations at Oga's, and especially with the social distancing requirements. Hopefully now that they're doing away with some of that, it'll be a little bit easier to actually get into Oga's and get a drink. But they do have some awesome drinks.
They do, and I think that's probably my favorite. It's on the sweeter side, but it's not too sweet. I'm definitely not a sickly sweet drink kind of a person. And I just think that foam on the top, the buzz button foam, with how it makes your mouth and your lips numb, it's just really fun. And again, that's something that you can't get anywhere else like that. Even they have a Galaxy's Edge cookbook that has some of their cocktails in there that you can make at home, but this one isn't one of them. So, unless you're really good at, unless you're really good like Pete and Nick and can figure out how to do all those things for liquid magic, which I cannot, then that's obviously something, only an experience you can have there at Oga's. And I really hope they do up their capacity and add more reservations, because that same thing, it's like, unless you're booking it that 60 days out, or you're maybe looking the day before, if somebody has to cancel, then good luck, it's probably not going to happen. And even then, at that 60 days, depending on how long your trip is, there might not be one available, so which I think is crazy. They should do like a to-go window or something like that. I think that'd be a really fun idea. But again, I just love the atmosphere. I've had great experiences with the cast members in there. I think it's really fun that they have DJ Rex and they repurposed him from Star Tours. I love that. That was one of my favorite rides as a kid. And again, just the different things that happen in the sounds and the atmosphere is really what makes it enjoyable for me. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see some of the other drinks that you sent in. So we've got this one, which is the California Sunsets.
Yes, it is, from Baseline Tap House. And so this one, Baseline Tap House, okay, it is what it is. It's like, you can find probably in any major city like a modern looking bar like that somewhere, you know what I mean? But it does the trick on a hot day, or if you need something quick, or now that you can walk around with drinks, I think it's a good place to go and grab and go something. Again, the only downside is that it is from a tap, so it's not something that's freshly made, which I get, but again, it's good. It does the trick. It's not my favorite, but I thought it was a good example of something that is quick that you can take to go with you. That's a viable option if you can't get like an Oga's reservation or a Brown Derby Lounge reservation or something else that's more popular. So,
right. And then this one is from another one of my favorite places to drink, which is the Boathouse.
Oh man, the Boathouse, like you just need to go to the Boathouse. I don't even care if seafood isn't your thing. You just need to go. There's gonna be something on the menu that you like. It's delicious. Now that drink, it was good, but again, it was on the sickly sweet side, which I didn't know. Clearly, I should have Googled a WDWNT review first before I made my menu choice. But, you know, again, it looks really pretty. It's very Instagrammable for sure. You know, but again, it was nice because it was hot outside, so it'll do the trick there. But warning, if you're not a sickly sweet drink kind of a person, don't get that one. But if that's your thing, then go ahead.
And then here is your controversial hot take choice.
Well, hot take is in like there's a whole debate on whether blue milk is actually good or not. I will say I think, and I'm sorry for those of you who are underage or don't drink, but I think with the rum it is better. I agree. I also enjoy it because it's something that is non-dairy, as someone who is now like actively choosing to be lactose intolerant just because it's better for me as a person. You know, it's just a nice option to have, you know, when I can't have like milkshakes or other things that most people can have. It's a good drink, and yes, I like it. I don't know. I like coconut too, and I know there's a lot of people who don't. So that's the other big part of it. And yes, that is my loth cat. His name is Zeb, and I
do all blue milks come with a loth cat with a Baby Yoda face mask on? That is my question.
No, but they should. That would make it so much better.
All right, and then here's our last pick from you. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that's me and my mom. I think that had to be the first time that we went to Oga's together. So what I have is the Jedi Mind Trick. Which, warning, if you don't like grapefruit, don't get that one. But I do. Like, I really like different things like that. Like, I like a lot of grapefruit beers. So that was a really fun way to see that as, like, a different margarita. And then the one that my mom has is the Bespin Fizz, which is really fun because they do the dry ice in that, and the boba bubbles, like, float up and down, which is really fun. The name of the non-alcoholic version of that same drink is escaping me, but it's like a Powerade one. If somebody wants to look up the menu who's in chat and tell me, please do. But that's the other nice thing is that that's a great example of a drink that does have both your cocktail and your mocktail option with it, which I think is really fun. You get the same theming and that same fun dry ice and the boba balls experience. But yeah, and I really like that Jedi Mind Trick though. Like that's a close second to the Fuzzy Tauntaun for me. Really good.
Great. I'm just going to jump over and go through mine really quick because I had a couple of pictures and some of them are what drinks we haven't talked about yet. So I just want to share real quick. This is the Moonshine Sour from the bar at Regal Eagle at American Adventure in Epcot, which I actually didn't know existed until the other day. But there's a bar outside of Regal Eagle where you can get drinks to go, and they have some really interesting cocktail choices. But this is a blackberry moonshine sour, and it's really delicious.
Ooh.
And then we have, the mule here is probably my favorite drink on property, like for a cocktail. It is the Limoncello Mule at Via Napoli, and you can also get it at the cart outside. It's like $5 cheaper at the cart outside, but if you are at dinner at Via Napoli, I definitely recommend treating yourself to this. It's a mule with limoncello in it, and it's delicious. And then the one on the right in the martini glass is a strawberry limoncello, so it's basically like a strawberry lemon slushy, and it's so good. These are favorites from Nomad Lounge. The Hightower Rocks is the watermelon margarita on the right, and that is so tasty. And Nomad is like absolutely one of my favorite places to go, you know, to what Stephanie was talking about with just like popping in and having some time and just chilling out, having a drink, having a snack, enjoying yourself, Nomad is my #1 go-to place for that. I will actually just go to Animal Kingdom to have a drink and a snack at Nomad Lounge and then turn around and leave.
Agreed.
This is my Joffrey's iced coffee because it is my favorite. Like I'm such a Joffrey's junkie. I buy the Joffrey's beans at the store in Disney Springs and take them home. Like I love Joffrey's, and like walking around the park with a Joffrey's iced coffee is my favorite thing to do. And then last but not least is the Tipsy Ducks in Love from the Joy of Tea at the China Pavilion in Epcot. I am a huge fan. It's delicious. It's really sweet. It's a little heavy, but it's super tasty, and definitely you should try it at some point if you're in the mood for that like coffee chocolate kind of vibe.
Hot take: Joffrey's is better than Starbucks.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
And the seasonal, I love the Candy Cane Lane from Joffrey's. It's great.
Ooh, I've never had the Candy Cane Lane. My favorite is the Hollywood Brown Derby coffee. I've like tried to try all of the different resort and restaurant coffees, and Brown Derby has absolutely been my favorite.
I bought my father-in-law the Alani, and he just drinks nothing but that now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you can order it online, so you don't have to be in the parks to get it. It frustrates. The thing that I don't like is that you can't buy any of the coffee at most of the Joffrey stands throughout the park, so you have to basically go to the Disney Springs location, or I think you can get it at Contemporary Grounds as well, but I don't think they have like the full selection.
No, yeah, I think you have to go to Disney Springs to have all your options in one place.
Yeah. All right, we're going to swap over to the photo Shannon sent in of her favorite lounge and cocktail experiences.
Yes. Okay. I wish I was more skilled at taking this picture because I was just doing it for my own knowledge and the reflection bugs me. But at the Ale and Compass Lounge at the Yacht Club, they actually feature Yacht Club vodka. And not only was I asking what that was, people around me I could hear were asking because it is featured on their menu. And really nothing super special about it other than the fact that it's called Yacht Club Vodka. It comes from France. And I'm typically a vodka drinker. And I thought this was a pretty decent. I'd compare it to Kettle One, something of that nature. So you can really get any mixed drinks you'd like with that. And I think that is that extra level of theming that we all look for in Disney, having a themed beverage, again, being very particular about their selection and their choices and what they're putting in their cocktail to kind of meet the theming of the bar itself.
Right. And it just makes you feel like it's all the more unique that this is something you can't get anywhere else.
Exactly. And something that I love about Ale and Compass is the fact that the front of it faces the lobby. You can people watch, or you can go behind that wall, that fireplace, and there's like a real bar back there. So I like those options. I love this coaster. I think it's adorable. And
this is Enzo's Hideaway, right?
It is. Yeah. And I know that Enzo's gets a bad rap. Personally, I have not had the food there, but back in my last trip, my husband and I were looking to grab a drink. It was really cold out, so we didn't want to go to some of these other places. The places had long waits. So I was like, you know what? I want to check this place out. And I love the vibe. It's old school, Italian, good cocktails. And again, I just love a good themed bar. I think this place, people need to give it a shot. Maybe not for the food, but at least just to sit at a bar, kind of tucked away in the Springs.
I don't think Enzo's food is terrible at all. I think they have a really nice charcuterie plate. That is one that I have absolutely enjoyed. It's not your best food on property, but it beats the pants off of Tony's in terms of Italian food for sure. And also it's a lot more easily available. Like I remember we were at Springs one night and it was, like we couldn't find a table anywhere. There were like lines, like half an hour long lines, even at some of the counter service, like Blaze Pizza and whatever. And Enzo's was like, no, we can seat you right away. And it was fantastic. And it's just got such a cool vibe. Like it's got this neat little like speakeasy rum runner tunnel kind of thing going on. And the people are always so nice. I've always had like really excellent wait staff experiences there.
Speaking of fun coasters. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
No. Sorry.
That's a whole other conversation is collectible coasters.
Right.
This is actually one of the standard pool bar drinks that you can get at basically any Disney resort. And I want to feature it because a lot of those, I think, also had wrap. This is in particular the Banana Cabana. I always get it every time we go. It's mango rum, coconut rum, banana, orange, pineapple with a float of grenadine. And I, like Emma, I'm not into sickly sweet drinks. But I think this is a good go-to that you should try. And again, I think this is pretty readily available at any pool bar on property, no matter where you're staying.
Right, let's see if we can move on to the next one. I do want to share though, like the collectible coasters is so much of a fun thing. You can, like, especially at Jack Lindsay's, there are multiple different ones, and it's like trying to score all of them. Nomad Lounge has them, Enzo's has them, Enchanted Rose has them, and it's like a thing that, like, I have a little stack of coasters now on my coffee table at home that I can use. That, you know, I've collected from various Disney lounges, and that's one more thing about, like, it's a little free souvenir, and that's one more thing about this that makes it fun.
Like Tom with his paper cups.
So this is the Via Vesuvio from Via Napoli, and it's blood orange vodka, Prosecco, and raspberries. And I think this is a good cocktail to talk about and kind of circle back in my non-alcoholic people, because the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize about Disney World in general is, you know, a lot of high-end restaurants. I mean, we know it because we go all the time, but lots of high-end restaurants. And with high-end restaurants typically comes really talented bartenders. So don't ever be afraid to ask if they can make something non-alcoholic like this one. There are plenty of sparkling ciders or non-alcoholic champagnes that are out there, and it would be very easy to remake something like this. So I definitely encourage people, if they're down there, and either if you are not of age or if you are of age and simply choose not to drink, you know, don't be afraid to be adventurous and ask.
That's awesome. All right, let's do another. Ooh, this is pretty. This is a Tambu, right?
Yeah, you know what? I was looking at the menu online earlier and I didn't see it there, so I hope it's not gone. But this was typically my go, the tropical macaw. It's light, it's refreshing. Another one that I don't think is overly sweet. It's just coconut rum, melon liqueur, pineapple, and cranberry juices. As much as I really enjoy the occasional pina colada, is that what it's called? It's like the raspberry and pina colada. They're delicious, but I cannot have that thick, heavy drink before stuffing my face at Ohana. So I think this
right?
This gets
so
the job
heavy.
done.
It's like a dessert almost. I don't know how people can drink that like as an accompaniment to their meal. That's definitely like it's basically having dessert as a drink, which I am a big fan of. I don't have any problem with that, but the pina colada is not a drink it along with your meal kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have a guess what this is. I feel like this is this from California Grill?
Yes, it is. It is the blueberry lemon drop martini.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon drop martinis are my go-to, and every time I get this drink, I always have a hidden Mickey in it. These particular blueberries sunk to the bottom. Sometimes they're usually floating on the top, but I think it's adorable. And this cocktail is absolutely delicious. If you are a martini person, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's a really nice one for sure.
Mm-hmm. There's the top. These are two different times. These are two different occasions where I got this martini, and I think it's adorable. I think they intend to do that. At least I hope so, but it's really cute.
That's awesome. Oh, and here's somebody who's actually just talking about this in the chat.
Yes, the Duck Raz. So this is probably going to be a bit of a controversial opinion. I actually did not enjoy the cocktail as much as I thought I would. I do have the ingredients. It's Stoli Raz, peach schnapps, blue curacao, lemon juice, simple syrup. All what I typically like. However, I don't know, something didn't work out. Maybe the bartender was new at this. I don't know, but you can't pass this up because the aesthetics of this drink are
Yes.
100%. The duck is adorable. They always nail the color. That foam on top is perfection. And it's always consistent because you see this drink all the time on social media, Instagram. It's very Instagram worthy. I don't regret getting it for that reason. But you know what? Get it. If you think you like those flavors, give it a try. I would probably try it again. But I just felt the particular one I got wasn't the tastiest cocktail around.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Jason had this the one time we were at Boathouse, and it was so cute. But yeah, it's not exactly my my cup of tea or cup of liquor, as you might say. Definitely, I'm not a super sweet drink person. So, all right, and with that, we're gonna cut to commercial, and we'll be back in a minute. Ashley will be taking over hosting for the rest of the show. We'll go through the rest of the drinks that Shannon and then Stephanie have sent in, and then see what you guys have to say about your favorite things on favorite drinks and lounges on property in the chat. Definitely share your opinions. We love to hear them. All right, and we will be right back. Thanks.
Weeklies on Friday at 9 p.m. Introducing WDWNT Entertainment, the new home for your favorite WDWNT shows, including Geekly Kingdom, a nerdy talk show with discussions, games, and interactive trivia. Deep in the Plus, diving into and reviewing the catalog available on Disney+. Cosmic Read Live, a show talking music, merchandise, vacation memories, and Imagineering attractions. WDWNT The RPG, a tabletop-style role-playing game like D&D but set in the parks. Ride Rehab, a satirical show of fixing attractions or ruining them even more. And many new and exciting programs to come. Subscribe now at youtube.com/WDWNT Entertainment.
Hey, Ashley. Oh. We can't hear you. I don't know why. Or I can't.
Having a lot of technical difficulties tonight. Sorry, folks.
It's okay. It's not WDWNT without some technical difficulties.
It's so true.
Anyway, to stall, I'll show you guys the Oga's coasters that I have. So there's 5 different designs. I guess 6 if you count the back. There's this one with the bantha. Oh, I think we have Ashley now. I think I can hear her.
Maybe?
Yeah, I heard something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah! There you go.
Yay! That's
Zoe
weird.
So
Don't even know what happened. Okay.
Anyway.
Beautiful.
Coasters.
Hi, everybody. Those are so cute. I have several from Jack Lindsay's. So yeah.
Good stuff.
We've shared all of ours. We want to hear
Yeah,
what are
about
your
yours?
go-tos?
Oh, some of mine. So some of my favorites are definitely the Lapu Lapu. I know Jill talked about Jack Lindsay's. You can't go wrong with the Lapu Lapu. Like, yes, it's expensive, but totally worth it. Unlike the fancy tequila at La Cava, I don't. It'd be fun to do once, but I probably wouldn't do it again. Lapu Lapus, I will order all the time. Jacques Lindsay's is another favorite. Again, there's not a whole lot you can do wrong there, but the Cool-Headed Monkey is probably my favorite, like, cocktail there.
Mm-hmm.
And those are those are probably like my top ones at the moment. Nomad Lounge is probably my favorite to go to for like if I'm in a park atmosphere. But yeah, those are probably my absolute favorites. I apologize, I'm clearly not at home. I'm actually in Florida. I decided to take an impromptu trip before I am too pregnant to travel. So just got in about 20 minutes ago, so it's all fine. It's good. We're here. But yeah, so one question that I did kind of want to ask everybody is other fun places. Like, I know we've talked about it a lot. I think we even interviewed, several of them over last year with Locked In. But one place that I don't think gets enough love, and it's unfortunate that it's still closed, is Jelly Rolls. If you want to talk about somewhere that still has a really, really great atmosphere to drink and hang out at the just on property. I sincerely hope that it comes back. I was actually introduced to it during college program, which was also really great because they had what we used to refer to as the college program special. I won't swear to remember. I seem to remember several years ago, more than I care to admit, that it was 64 ounces, basically, of alcohol that you got for like $9.
Wow.
And now it might be 32. It's downstairs in my purse. So. Yes, it is.
That's still a good deal, though, even if it's less ounces for how cheap that is. If it's 32 ounces for $9,
right? Like, even if it's still
kind of
32 ounces. Yeah. So if you ever go, I think college program night it was some night during the week, and I think now it's actually Sundays. But if you go on a Sunday night, if and when Jelly Rolls reopens and they're doing college program night again, and they still have the drink special, you will see things that you can't unsee from those from the college program kids. Because it's one of the few places they can get there safe, and it's a great time if you have never been.
Oh, that makes me so sad. I was going to say, typically my family, we always stay at Yacht Club, and we never really ventured to Jelly Rolls. And I did one time with my husband, and I was like, I know, I've been missing out all these years, and now I've been trying to get them to go, but it hasn't reopened, and it makes me super sad. But I am really looking forward to the day that comes back.
Yeah, I haven't been yet
makes
either.
Me super sad. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying, last opportunity I had to go was before I was 21, so I haven't been either. And it makes me sad that it's still closed. But I guess, like, if you're still looking for a piano bar experience, though, and you feel like going over to Universal, Pat O'Brien's is open and it's a fun place too. But Jelly Rolls is still way better.
That one.
Hopefully, as they bring back more entertainment, that will come back too. I don't know if any of you have been over to Raglan Road. That's a happening time. Mm-hmm. Dancing on the bar.
Yeah, that one's a great one too. Jelly Rolls definitely still holds a special place, but yeah, Raglan's really great. I apologize. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. No, but what I love about this conversation, it's okay. What I love about this conversation is there are so many places that I've known about and I know are great, but I've still not managed to find the time to go. And I think that is also one of the greatest things about Disney World is the fact that you can always find something new to do, I think anyway, even if you travel multiple times a year. Yeah, so.
No, I agree. Like, I still haven't done that behind the scenes tour yet. Like, there's it's impossible to cram it. Right? It's impossible to cram all of it into one trip, But speaking of another hidden gem place, is the Gurgling Suitcase over at Old Key West. It's just this little pool bar.
That's a good
I don't
one.
know what's happened with who's working there now, because everything got shifted around when things reopened and people were put into different cast member positions. But like there were always like long time bartenders there that knew a lot about Disney history, were close with all the other vacation club members there, because it's a lot of people who have joined in at like 91, like through, you know, however long Old Key West sold until it sold out. You know, but it's just a really fun place to be, really friendly people that are there, both cast members and guests. So
yeah, and thank you. Jill just messaged me actually too, because we did get a lot of feedback. We did a poll on Instagram about other people's favorite drinks, and some of them we've mentioned already tonight. Obviously, like the Lapu Lapu. Tempting Tigress is one that is a great one that's over at Nomad. Some of the other ones we got, Night Blossom was a popular one.
Oh yes. Yes, because that's the one that you can get over in Pandora at Animal Kingdom, which is also another great non-alcoholic choice.
Yes. The Hippopotam Mai Tai, which is fantastic. I think that's a Trader Sam's one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 2 shots of rum.
Oh, that's right. Some other ones, Hightower Rocks. That's one I've actually not heard of. Have any of you all heard of that one?
Is that what Jill put on earlier?
Nomad.
Yeah, it's watermelon. It's so refreshing, but again, not too sweet. It's so good. I get that every time I go to Nomad. Every time.
That's a good one.
The violet sake, I have not tried because I typically don't like sake, and anything violet flavored sounds floral to me, but everyone raves about the violet sake. So I'm curious if I should.
That is another one.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I was reading up trying to, because I haven't been in a while, and obviously I'm not drinking anytime soon. So my memory is a little lapsed, obviously, at the moment. But I was reading, and a lot of people do, and I do remember even before, and I never got the chance to try it really, but a lot of people do rave about that one. It doesn't taste like a typical sake from what I understand.
Okay.
So I'll definitely have to give that a try when I can.
I wish we were doing this topic like in a week or so when you have gone there, Ashley, and you can see like all the different mocktails that you enjoy, because I've definitely been pregnant at Disney a couple of times. So I've had a few. One of them. I think I don't know if you guys have the picture of it or not, but there's one at Nomad Lounge that I sent in. It was the Zinga beer fizzy. I don't know if you have heard of that one. Anyway, it has passion fruit puree, mint, ginger beer, and the lime juice, and it is also very good. But I guess I'm the sweet drink person of the group because nobody else likes the sweet drinks, but I really do, need that sugar rush.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to the Cruise Cup Lounge, which I miss dearly. But that's just another bar that I feel like the theme. I've also had an amazing there, probably one of the best I've had on property. But if you've not been, it's in the yacht club, connected to Yachtsman. It's cozy craftsman style, but I love the attention to detail. You see the crew boats on top, the oars, and the touch of rain jackets even hanging up to make it look like you're really in like a little boathouse off of a river. And I highly recommend, if anyone's in Epcot, just go right out back International Gateway, check it out for some AC, and then go back. It's a good way to sneak it in your day, a park day nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel there's, and I know y'all said it at the top of the show, but there's so many great places to drink. And I don't necessarily want to be negative, but at the same token, I feel like we should be fair. Are there any places or drinks apart from, I know there was one mentioned right before I hopped on, but that you maybe would recommend that people pass? Because there's so many great things to have. It's almost even doubly unfortunate when you have a drink that's not quite up to par at Walt Disney World, because not only are you paying a premium, but again, there's so many good options.
No matter how much I've talked about and how great WIGS is, I would say like that's something that you might want to consider skipping, only because it is so expensive. The drinks are good. The atmosphere is great. You're going to get great service. But like if you are trying to do a trip on a budget, it is really easy, especially if you have a group of 4 or more, to spend a lot of money there. So that you just, if that is something that you really want to do, you just have to consider the cost. Like that's one of the negative things that I would have to say about WIGS. It's just really, really expensive.
That's fair. Anybody else?
Here's something interesting. So I don't know, it's one of those like tree falls in the forest. Does it actually, no one's around to hear it, does it actually fall kind of thing? If you drink and you don't take a picture of it, did you actually consume this drink? No. So anyway, I don't have any pictures of this, but when we did the Highway in the Sky Dine Around, where it's the progressive dinner on the monorail, and it takes you through all the monorail resorts, at the Grand Floridian, after the main course, you go downstairs for your cheese and wine course, and they have the Iron Horse Fairy Tale Celebration Cuvée, and that is something you can only get at Walt Disney World. It is a sparkling wine. And I should say this, you can only get it at the resort, or you can order it on the Floral and Gift website. So you can actually have it delivered to your hotel room if you're celebrating something, along with a bunch of different champagnes. And we also did the Wishes sparkling grape juice for the kids. And that was neat. But I wouldn't say it's spectacular. It's just one of those things that you do because it says fairy tale on it and it's only available at Disney World, so you're paying a premium for the name, but it's pretty neat.
I'd have to say my only negative, this is probably an odd one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The concierge level, I've only I've stayed on it twice, but once was just for one night, and the other time we were upgraded for free. And maybe I'm mistaken, but when we went, it was only beer and wine, which I feel like can never be justified. Can you ask for other liquor?
I think you can. I don't know that it's included though. I think you have to pay.
Yeah, so to me, that's kind of a bummer. Like if I could, because those cocktails we all know can get very, very pricey, and we don't always, get the fancy ones. Sometimes I just like my typical vodka soda, but even that in Disney World can run up your credit card bill. So I kind of wish that concierge level would give you a little more in terms of that.
I do actually thought of another place. Go ahead, Ashley.
Oh, go ahead, Emma.
I was going to say, I thought of another place that you can, or at least a couple things that you can skip, is Splitsville. And this is kind of a hot take because their food is really good, but I would not get any of the frozen drinks that they have that are pre-made. If you are going to get one, go with the frosé, but even then, like, they have a pretty decent craft beer selection normally, so I would go with that, or, like, get a cocktail somewhere else in Springs. I just, again, it's fine, but like for what you're paying, you can get better things. Like, for instance, you can go to the Dockside Margaritas bar and get a frozen margarita that's freshly made rather than, something that's already pre-done in a machine. Yeah. But other than that, like, go to Splitsville for the sushi and the food though, because it's good. So good.
Not a fan of sushi, but I'll take your word for it. Although that does remind me, one place that I really do like also that I feel like doesn't get mentioned quite enough is for their drinks is Homecoming. Their moonshine cocktails are delicious. Yes. They're so good and so refreshing. And
their
dangerous.
Food is so good too.
They blend them. Oh gosh, yes. I mean, that is good, like truly home cooking type food. But yeah, that with those drinks, and they're dangerous too, and it's hard to really make a good moonshine cocktail where you can't really taste the moonshine, and they are perfect, I would say, just about every time.
And they have a to-go window, so if you can't get a reservation, go to the to-go window and get one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely worth it.
Here's another thing that I observed recently. And obviously, I enjoy having a drink, but I've noticed, and maybe I just haven't realized before, but on my last 2 trips, all of the bar carts in Disney Springs seem pretty excessive. And I feel like for families with kids, I'm like against the people who are like, oh, alcoholics are taking over Disney World, like the drunks are ruining Disney World. I don't agree with that at all. But if I was a local, and I like to shop, and if I was shopping and I could just go get a vodka soda, like it's very dangerous and tempting, I think. But I don't know. Is that just me, or does anyone else realize that?
I can't. I mean, I'll be there tomorrow, so I'll have to look. I can't speak to that, but it's brilliant on their part because, I mean, you've got all the great bars and you have the walk-up to-go windows. Yeah, but especially if you're a local, you may not necessarily be inclined to go wait in one of those lines for a specialty cocktail. But if you happen to want a beer or something and just walk by, not only are they generating revenue for that, but then you have a couple, you're more inclined potentially to spend more money that you wouldn't potentially spend. So, I mean, good on them so long as it's not turning into another Pleasure Island situation.
I think the weird part, at least for having kids, is going through the Magic Kingdom and seeing somebody walking around with a drink. That's still a little bit strange, but you expect it at Epcot, you expect it at Hollywood Studios, you expect it at Animal Kingdom to an extent, especially at Epcot. We haven't discussed like our favorite places to go around in Epcot and drink there. So
France.
We go to France. Okay, we go to Rose and Crown almost every trip, and we like a dark Guinness there, and the kids prior to COVID, it was a kind of a more fun atmosphere. After COVID, it really hasn't. It's been kind of dull, but hopefully it'll come back to what it was before.
Hopefully.
But yes,
I gotta be honest, my favorite is, I wish it was France, because I know once upon a time they were really great drinks. And I'm not knocking them. I know they're still great drinks. But vodka is my personal kryptonite. So I can drink anything else all night long and I will be 100% fine. A little bit of vodka and I'm going to die. I clearly drank too much of it in high school. But yeah, so I'm definitely more of a Mexico person, a good tequila. I'm not a big beer drinker, like, at all. But yeah, no, I will hands down be the one that starts in Mexico, and then will kind of limp my way through France and Canada and UK just to say that I've done it. Because by that point I don't care anymore.
But the slushies, oh my God. Well, I guess, the slushies do have vodka in them, but I will say, like, I have not had a bad slushie in France. And that includes the ones that are normally there and the ones that they do for the festivals. They are just all so good every time. It ends up being like one of my favorite things that I have during a festival is one of the France slushies.
Oh yeah. No, I can't, on a quality level, I can't knock them. I lament it every time because I've had sips of them and they are delicious. And I wish that I could have one because they're refreshing, but I can't. I don't know that will ever change, but.
Oh. But I mean, you can't go wrong with the margarita in Mexico either, though. Like, I also start there.
No, this is very true. Yeah.
And then you mentioned you like pink grapefruit. Have you tried the pink grapefruit Hefeweizen? I'm going to say that wrong. I apologize. In Germany.
That's right. I have not. So that's the thing. I'm not really like a wheat beer person or a Hefeweizen person. I'll have to look at the profile. So that's the other thing about like the beers at Disney people. You might want to look at some of them because like some of their sours were more like gozas and not as like sour because they're more malty. It's just a different style of sour. So but that's the thing. I'm not really a Hefeweizen or a wheat beer person, which is funny because I will drink pretty much anything when it comes to beer and wine, and that I don't know, just not my thing.
I find the Kakamora float, which I know is kind of not really a cocktail, but I didn't know that blue curacao. I didn't know that comes non-alcoholic, and so
it is non-alcoholic.
I think that it is. Well,
wait, what?
Isn't it? Like, or is it? I thought that drink or that float in Magic Kingdom, I thought it was a non-alcoholic thing, wasn't it?
It is, but I think that's what's confusing to a lot of people. Like, I always thought blue curacao had alcohol in it, but apparently it either doesn't or there's non-alcoholic versions.
It doesn't, because actually, fun thing about the state of Maryland, people, we actually don't have any alcohol in our grocery stores because of the way liquor licenses work. So, but you can get blue curacao, and they have it in, I can't remember which aisle it is, but wherever they keep all the margarita mixes and stuff, yeah, you can get blue curacao there. It is non-alcoholic. It's just a syrup.
That's crazy. I just learned something new about alcohol, and I didn't think that was possible. So
but that is a good choice for anyone who doesn't drink.
That it was liqueur. Yeah, that was delicious. Oh, that's good to know. Mm-hmm. That's something I could have.
Yes, maybe. And it is so good with that coconut soft serve. It's amazing.
Yeah. Something that I really miss, and I don't know why, but it was so refreshing. It's probably more from if you've been to Disneyland. They used to do, and it's so basic, but it was so delicious. And again, Disney Magic, I think, made it taste different. But a Minute Maid apple juice slushie. And they used to do them, and they were ginormous. And you could just walk around the park, and it was the most refreshing thing. And if they do it, they must have brought it back because the last time I was there, granted, caveat, it was 2012, they had discontinued doing it, and I was heartbroken that I could not have my slushie because there was something just so basic and delicious about a Minute Maid apple juice slushie.
Isn't that what LeFou's brew is?
Kind of.
Essentially. And that's something that we haven't talked about. Like, okay, so again, kind of off topic, but why not? LeFou's brew or butterbeer?
Butterbeer.
Butterbeer.
Since they were kind of made to rival each other.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I just, it's good. I think LeFou's brew is good. I think butterbeer is better.
Butterbeer has that caramely kind of taste.
Yeah. It's the hot take, but I actually would rank them the other way around. Butterbeer is good, but I like LeFou's better. But that's probably because of memories of the apple juice.
You definitely get a lot of apple in LeFou. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't care for hot butterbeer. It has to be cold.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would say the frozen, I know a lot of people say the hot is the best, but I think the frozen is the best kind of the three.
Agreed.
I agree.
Definitely agreed.
It's on my to-do list.
Oh, definitely. You have to.
One day.
They're both very good. You wouldn't be disappointed, I don't think, with either. Mm-hmm. But so we're getting kind of close to wrapping up. I know we've kind of all gone around and said our favorites, and we kind of talked about maybe the ones to skip. But does anybody have any last honorable mentions?
I guess
I had a seasonal drink.
Or fun.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I had a seasonal drink at the Wave. I don't usually go there, but again, that was on the Dine Around experience. And it was a whiskey peach tea. Again, I like the sweet, right? It had the Jameson Irish whiskey with the peach schnapps and the iced tea and the agave syrup. And it was great. I could drink a whole thing of that. But yeah, it was seasonal. And I, you can always try those items on the menu as well.
Very cool.
So actually, Desi just brought this up in the chat. The back scratcher at Tambu Lounge.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that. I actually think I enjoyed that more than the Lapu Lapu, and maybe it's just the particular one that I had was a little on the strong side, so I didn't really get much of the fruit juice, and it was mostly rum. But yeah, I really like the back scratcher. I guess another off-property, not necessarily outside the bubble, but off-property one would be, if you are at Universal, definitely go to Fat Tuesdays at City Walk. They're even, again, they're pre-mixed, but they're excellent though. My favorite one of those is to get a 190 octane. Warning, it has grain alcohol in it, so just be careful, but it's good.
The last thing I'll say is I'm going to circle back to Trader Sam's, and I know that some people probably think it's overrated, but I love a bar that you can sell merchandise for. Like now Polynesian sells pillows and tank tops, and I have an adorable postcard with an octopus, and he has this cute smile on his face, and he's like holding all of the fancy beverages from the bar in his hands. And I love that it's this full experience. It's this destination to go, and the antics that you get from a classic attraction like the Jungle Cruise, the skippers, their dry humor is fantastic. So I recommend everyone go if you haven't already, whether you drink or you don't drink. I believe though their cutoff is 8:00. If you're underage, you have to go between 4 and 8. But go just as a Disney attraction.
Well, for that matter, go to Skipper Canteen then
great.
as well, since
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have to agree. Trader Sam's is probably one of my favorites. I didn't get a chance because, again, I was driving today to send it to Jill to make it into the show tonight. But it's on my Instagram. The one time that I really enjoyed Trader Sam's, and it was the last time I was there a couple years ago. It was for Rex the Halls, if you were at that event. So it was at Christmas time. And they actually, they have kind of, it's not a projection window, but I guess maybe it is, of the volcano kind of in the background, similar to what you see in Tiki Room. And it erupted, but it was erupting snow, which me and it was Ron and his wife Laurel were there. And because at first we thought we were seeing things, and then we're like, no, it's actually snow. We were laughing about it and having a good time. The bartender came over, and we had just ordered our drinks. And he looks at me and goes, well, do you want to build a snowman? And I was very confused. Won't lie. But I was like, yeah? And so he built me next to my cocktail, and I hate that I don't have the picture and I can't pull it up right now. But again, if you go to my Instagram, it's there. But he made me a little Olaf snowman.
Oh,
like with the garnish, with the little carrot nose, and he garnished it with I think it was like celery or something to be his little like twig head hair. It was the cutest darn thing, and it was so funny. And I mean, again, not that it necessarily had to be a quote unquote Disney character, but it was just a really funny moment that he clearly just came up with on the fly. Like, I'm sure maybe he had done it before, obviously, because it was a very good Olaf. But just to make it that much more special to be in there. And it was hysterically funny. And one of the greatest experiences, and not an experience I think you could get many other places on property, let alone off property.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I did want to mention is kind of my closing words is, especially on property, don't be afraid to try new things when it comes to drinking. I know a lot of people, especially when you're back home, we're very guilty of, you kind of always order the same thing, or at least the same alcohol, because that's what you're in your comfort and your wheelhouse. But don't be afraid. There's typically, and again, like we struggled to come up with, truly bad drinks. There's not really anything on property. And some of the things that have broadened my horizons the most is going out with people and ordering things that I typically wouldn't order, if I were back home at a bar. So again, whether it's a regular cocktail, like even an old fashioned, like I like bourbon, I like whiskey and things like that. I like dark liquor, but I don't really like old fashions. But for whatever reason, I tried one at the Brown Derby, one of the best cocktails I've had.
Wow.
So just highly recommend when you come to property, just keep an open mind when it comes to your drinking, because you will probably most definitely not be disappointed, and you will find something new and interesting to take back with you.
Well said.
True.
Yeah, and
Well,
I encourage you with your trip, because if you're down there now, are you going to the parks, Ashley?
So unfortunately not, because it was literally, I decided yesterday to come down here. So no, we're not going to the park. I may squeeze in a water park and go float the lazy river and things like that, but I don't think we're going to be able to do a park. So probably Disney Springs and a water park will be about it. But just enough Disney to get me through the last 10 weeks.
Well, I think as I get older, I'm going to wind down and probably intermingle some more non-alcoholic beverages in with my alcoholic beverages. And I'm looking forward to that, because I even when I was preparing for tonight and I was looking at some of the cocktail menus, I was seeing some of the non-alcoholic beverages they offer, and they all sound really wonderful and tasty. And I kind of want to mix those in and try some new places for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, most definitely.
Well, if you guys want, I said in our Slack channel that I would unbox a Wishable tonight. If you guys still want me to do that.
Yeah, that'll be our
for
best.
sure.
Okay. So,
Our first
as we all know,
unboxing.
what's been popular, I feel like among the staff, is the $5 ones that you can get at Five Below right now. So this is the Snack Series 2, and of course, I have to Jill this because that's how it goes. So I think it feels kind of blocky. So I think it's going to be the popcorn. So there's 4 options. You either get the popcorn, the churro, the turkey leg, or the cotton candy. So I think I have a feeling this is, yeah.
Which one is the variant?
Popcorn. There isn't.
Oh,
I know. I wish there was, but
popcorn.
oh, there we go.
Popcorn.
My favorite
she
thing
got
is
it.
that it has the Disney Parks thing
Disney
on the side.
Parks.
And the little detail on the back,
That is
like the actual
cute.
popcorn things do. Anyway, there we go. Yay,
So
Wishables.
Everyone needs a snack after a drink, especially salty
Yes.
popcorn.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Well, with that, everyone, I think that wraps up tonight. One quick announcement that I did want to make is that we are actually moving. With Park Center ending, we are taking their slot. Well, we're taking their night. We're not taking their slot. So just to let everybody know, we are moving from Thursday to Wednesday, starting with our next show. We're thinking it's going to be at 8 o'clock. Will be our new time to kind of sort of fill the gap that is being left behind. But definitely stay tuned. We're going to be posting all over social media and things to promote and let everybody know. But just to make a mental note, we are moving to Wednesdays. So our next show will actually not be July 1st. It will be June 30th at probably 8 o'clock. But and please tune in for that show and write in for us. That one's actually going to be a good one. We're actually going to be talking about the Disney pink tax. And for those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with what pink tax is, it's the tax that women seem to pay, more of a premium, if you will, for the quote unquote girly things. So one kind of popular example that is just in the world in general, the grocery store, is like, a a guy's razor will be $4, whereas the girl's pink razor will be $7, and things like that. So we're going to kind of talk about that from a Disney perspective about, is there a Disney pink tax? Is it fair? And all the things involved and wrapped around with the with being a female Disney fan, we'll put it that way, and the extra that we wind up having to pay.
Jill also mentioned in chat that July 1st is when fireworks come back as well. So I'm sure that, those of us who are either, on trips or locals will want to be there for that.
Yes. So see, it works out on multiple levels. But with that, does anybody else have any closing thoughts? All right. Well, with that, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. And we will see you all on June 30th. Have a good night.
Bye.
Cheers.